What is going on, everyone? It is Foul Play here. We are back again for another Modern League. So I decided I wanted to test out Cartouche of Solidarity again in the deck. We have seen a resurgence in Kaya's Guile recently. People are sort of catching on to how strong the card is. So I sort of believe that Cartouche of Solidarity is a card that gives you a good hedge against that, right? Because you give yourself a creature. Weaknesses of Cartouche, or strengths firstly, it gives you a Vigilance 1/1 token. It also gives First Strike and 1/1. Weaknesses are, it's sort of like a Flex Aura, so it means we have to go down on other effects a little bit. I've gone down on Spirit Mantle, down on a Griff Spoon, and down on Hyena Umbra to fit in these Cartouche Solidarities. Because I've reduced the Griff Spoon by 1, I've actually subbed in 1 Spirit Mantle as well. Still got the 1 of all the glitters there. Playset cards are the Ethereal Armor, the Rancor, and the Daybreak as far as our auras are concerned. We've also got the full 4 of the Leyline and our 11 creatures over here. Our land base is sporting 4 fetch lands and then pretty much playsets of everything except the 3 basics and the 1 Dryad. Sideboard wise, I'm going to leave this unchanged from the last league. So we have got Lurrus as a companion for games 2 or 3 if we brought out the Leyline of Sanctity. If not, then we won't have access to it in game 1, right? I still think it's worth considering at the very least. It's a very powerful card in effect, and the metagame is slow enough that if it goes a little bit grindy, you can get some value out of it. We've also got Paths for creature hate, Rest for graveyard hate, Suppression Field for combo hate, Artifact enchantment hate between the seal and the Force of Vigor here. 1 seal, 2 force. Seal is reoccurring. We've got Dramoka's Command as a little bit of tech against Heliod combo, and 3 Gadok Teagues as well. Should be noted that the metagame's moved a little bit away from Burn and Prowess, despite me versing a lot of it in the last few leagues. It has dropped off a lot, and I'm running this in green-white because I can't see enough flex slots remaining to justify blue. It'd be like whatever the 2 mana 1/1 lifelink attacking, dealing damage, draws your card Staggering Insight. I think that's the one. Apologies as well. I am a little bit ill today. I hope it doesn't affect my gameplay for you guys too much. But hopefully we're fine with it as well. Not playing the most comprehensive crazy deck, but yeah, I spent the day at home with what's likely gastro, so very much last minute putting this video together before I'll post it for this evening. Alright, so here we are for match number 1. We on the die roll, which is always a good start. I've got a no creature hand here with 4 lands, one of which could be Dryad Arbor. Sorry, 5 lands. I think we'd find something a little bit stronger than that. Alright, so this is better. We will keep this, and I'll just bottom a redundant Bogle. We have pretty powerful auras here. We do take a little bit of damage from our Horizon Canopy. As long as we're not versing a Burn or Prowess deck, it shouldn't matter too much. Alright, looks like we're versing Harden Scales. So they're basically like a really powerful turn 4 deck, right? Let's go ahead, attack in for 4. Drop my pen on the ground, that's what I get for fidgeting. Welding Jar, that's an interesting tech. Alright, we find the Cartouche of Solidarity here, so we are actually curving out really nicely. And attack for 11. Opponent is blocking and regenning the Steel Overseer. So benefits for that is if I draw creature evasion or trample, then, you know, I'm just in for a good amount of damage next turn. I suppose it's benefits for my opponent to cash it in now rather than later. Alright, so it's our turn 4. Opponent's turn 3. Go ahead and cycle this Horizon Canopy, drop our lane count down, and then play the Razor Verge Thicket. Alright, well, looks like we didn't draw too much. So I guess he's just going to cash in the Hangerback Walker now, put some counters on it. So one of the weaknesses of going like all in on this one creature here, but at the same time, I don't really think we have a huge amount of choice. Arcbound Ravager, okay, that's bad news for us. They can make a pretty giant creature now. Alright, we'll take a bunch of flying damage, and they might actually be hitting us for lethal here as well. The more Arcbound Ravager triggers they do, the more damage they get in. Alright, so we get a -2. And lose that one. Obviously, if we hit Daybreak Coronet, we would have been in for a bit longer, but then we probably, because we didn't have flying, we would have died to the Inkmoth Nexus. Alright, so Leyline of Sanctity, pretty pointless here. Things like Path to Exile are very good. Suppression Field is actually extremely good against this deck. And things like Seal of Primordium, Force of Vigor, reasonable too. Now, Gadok Teague only stops non-creature spells with X from being cast, so a lot of their deck is X creatures, so it's not really going to affect that side of it, right? Dramoka's Command can also hit Hardened Scales, but that might be going slightly on the side of overboarding here. I don't think that this is the best matchup for Cartouche of Solidarity, and I might just take out one All That Glitters as well because it's a little bit slow. Alright, as we load into our next game here, a reminder, if you haven't done so already and do enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe. I do daily videos here. We go through a lot of Bogles on the channel. Sometimes we change it up for the weekend, but not always. Alright, so we mulligan to this hand with Spirit Dance. I just realized I wrote good luck 2 games in a row. We have a bit of flying. I think honestly, we're probably best off keeping the Spirit Dancer here, even if we're throwing away our green card. Alright, the turn 1 Harden Scales. Alright, so we get decent aura there. Because we missed land drop, I'm probably never playing this Core Spirit Dancer now, especially with double Ethereal Armor. Or never going in on the Spirit Dancer, I should more specifically say. Alright, well here... What's... Difference for attacking for 5 and 4. So you can put our opponent to 13. And then if we Daybreak attack, it's an extra 5. So it's the same clock either way. I might want to slow roll this Griff Spoon to conceal the fact we have it. Unfortunately, we're still not hit a card for Force of Vigor or a land to just play our Daybreak, but hitting Daybreak's definitely a good draw. So this is our opponent's turn 3. So they could have like a good turn this turn, but next turn's the turn that they'd be looking to kill, right? Interestingly enough, this opponent seems to just be mono green Hardened Scales. They're not splashing for Lurrus in either white or black. So I guess if we kept the Glade Cover Scout in hand here, we could get a juicy 2 for 2. Holy smokes, man. Well, we drew a green card, so that's a good place to start, at least. We'll attack in the air for 8, put our opponent down low, and then we can force a Vigor in our opponent's turn. Very likely in response to them casting something. Fortunately for us, our opponent is also locked out on lands a little bit. He's kept on 2 mana. And we do have that flying to get the W, as long as they don't play and sacrifice a Walking Ballista. Sorry, a Hangerback Walker. So I guess if we played perfectly and kept the Glade Cover Scout in hand, untapping this turn, our opponent would have a 1/1 Walking Ballista, and that's it. So maybe I was overestimating the explosiveness just a touch. Excuse me. Something's repeating on me a little bit there. Alright, looks like our opponent's ready to make a decision here. Is this indicative of them having the Nature's Claim? Alright, so we'll get rid of Steel Overseer and Harden Scales. And I guess they can have Inkmoth Nexus to block with here. And they'll be buffing up their Walking Ballista ever so slightly. Alright, we finally draw our second mana source for Daybreak Coronet. And I guess this Inkmoth is going to go pretty low. We've drained our opponent's resources a little bit. But the game's not over yet. On the plus side, we are gaining a lot of life. So Walking Ballista is no longer a massive threat. Or a massive threat immediately. Huh. So opponent Walking Ballista there on Inkmoth to deny the life game. That's well played. Opponent also conceded the game though. They finally hit their third land on turn 5. Definitely know those feels. There's maybe potential Core Spirit Dancer might just be slightly slow this game. I might bring in all the glitters for that slight extra oomph over one of the copies, so we've still got 2 in the deck. And that should be fine. Okay, select our companion, get into it. Very little firepower in this hand. We can block some creatures, but that's not super exciting. This hand, however, is extremely good. I might get rid of the second Daybreak Coronet, and then we keep a pretty nice hand with removal and an aura to enable Daybreak. And turn 2, we can hold up Play Hyena, Umbra, hold up Path. I can speak, I swear. Animation module. Alright, animation module is a good one for my opponent to start on. This makes servo tokens, which don't have flying. And it's proliferate. Or it's like a bad version of proliferate. Alright, well, we'll fetch shock because it's the least damage to ourselves in the long run. We also do cycle that Daybreak Coronet that we scryed to the bottom back in. Main problems with this hand is A, we don't have flying or reach, and B, we don't have a way to push damage like a Rancor or a Spirit Mantle. I think overall, you know, this is definitely better than your average hand though, right? Looks like my opponent's kept a hand that's maybe got a good 2 mana creature. So it didn't really start at a 1 mana creature, right? Alright, Walking Ballista. They can't pay 1, so they just get the Walking Ballista here. Alright, well, that's really good for us. Let's go ahead and put our Trample on down so that we can hold up Daybreak and Path next turn. This also plays around Nature's Claim a lot better, protecting us from Nature's Claim slightly better than just going, you know, Daybreak Coronet next turn. It's not necessarily confirmed that we're going to want to path our opponent either. Oh, they've got the Ozolith. Ozolith is really strong. So whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put it onto the Ozolith. The beginning of combat, move it onto your a creature of your choice. So it's probably going to block with this Arcbound Worker. Try and make Walking Ballista a bit larger. I think we want to save this path for a Inkmoth Nexus. Alright, Arcbound Worker is fine. And they're making the servo token. Putting that on the Arcbound Worker seems pretty reasonable to me. Another servo token. So no Nature's Claim. We just draw the Force of Vigor. That's pretty stupid. Pretty stupid good. Alright, so just yield until my opponent's upkeep, and then I might make a decision on a Force of Vigor before he can get the counters somewhere. Alright, so the easy Force of Vigor is hit out Ozolith and Walking Ballista, so I think I'm going to just go ahead and do that now. We could go after the animation module to stop all this token nonsense. Walking Ballista is just going to shoot face anyway. Alright, let's take out both of their support artifacts here. Alright, so it should be pretty hard for them to win like that. Harden Scales is a good card to find though. And they're just attacking in the air for 1 infect, which is fine by me. We do draw the Ethereal Armor, and that's going to be enough. Path to Exile is going to help. We're going to have enough damage here. Alright, so we fortunately get the win. I think we drew above average that game. We hit the Rancor, which we needed to actually make a serious impact there. And the Ethereal Armor was just icing on the cake, right? Other than that, we curved out nicely into lands. We had that Force of Vigor going for us off the Slippery Bogle. Like, we drew extremely well that game. But yep, that's it for today's video, guys. As always, if you did enjoy it, let me know what you think down below. And yeah, have a great day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.